She's a good girl, bells in mouth, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about a house, loves horses and a boyfriend too.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yuvarajan Mutu from the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Today, it is indeed a great pleasure to have you all on board for this live webinar presented to you by the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center in the context of the National Science Week 2021. Technology has been one of the most important factors for the development of mankind. In today's era, technology support is very important for the successful functioning of the banking sector. Over the past years, banks around the world have invested heavily in technology, such as telebanking, mobile banking, net banking, ATMs, credit cards, debit cards, electronic payment systems, data warehousing, and data mining solutions to bring improvements in quality of customer services and fast processing of banking operations. So today we have with us Dr. Dirubini Morinarainen, who will give you a talk on tech inventions in bank. Dr. Narayanan is currently working as lecturer at the School of Business Management and Finance at the University of Technology, Mauritius. Before we start the talk, I would humbly ask you to type your questions in the question and answer section. Thank you. The floor is yours, Dr. Narayan.
Thank you, Mr. Yuvamutu. Good morning, everyone. I will provide you a high-level bird view of the tech inventions in banks and the related inventors. First, I will have to...
Dr. Narayan, sorry to interrupt.
My video is...
Okay.
So I will provide you a high-level bird view of the tech inventions, technologies in banks, and then some of the related inventors. First of all, I would like to share my screen. Can you see? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay on my side, yes.
Okay, so this will be a brief history of banks being innovators of technology to facilitate customer personal banking experience. And long time back, okay, probably during the year 1900, banks were paper-based process for their daily operations. And computers for banks were introduced in 1964 by IBM System 360, low-cost, modular, and popular with its widespread use. Beginning of 1949, check processors using an IBM-proof machine could punch in payment amount and bank identification numbers with one hand, and while feeding checks into a slot with the other. And the 1961 IBM 803 proof machine boosted 36 pockets into which the machine sorted checks for return to the banks in which they were drawn. A skilled 803 operator could process up to 1,500 checks per hour. And in 1963, IBM introduced a high-speed bank transit system designed for use by US Federal Reserve banks. The inventors were Frederick Fuller and Thomas Watson. Now, during the 1970s, banks started to establish centralized data processing centers. The role of these data processing centers were to collect the handwritten documents from bank branches, compile the documents, manual data entry by the operators, generate these reports for the bank staff and the central bank, as well as executing some other banking transactions. And in 1940s, data center typified by ENIAC, one of the earliest example of the data center, designed by John Mauchly and Presper Eckert of the University of Pennsylvania. And there were long queues of customers affecting the banking transaction. Such a situation was not really convenient for both the banks and the customers. So ATM appearance industry helped in eliminating the long queues of customers. September 2, 1969, America's first ATM makes its public debut, dispensing cash to customers at Chemical Bank in Rockville Center, New York, and ATM became the electronic facility of banking for most customers. And the teller was automated with functionalities, among which were presently cash removal, deposits, bank transfer, and you can top up, and any other banking transaction. And the emerging trends are interactive ATM with artificial intelligence. The inventor of ATM was Luther Simjan, who invented the first ATM and then was implemented by different banks all around the world. The electronic point of sale, we call it electronic fund transfer point of sale, FPOS technology, was developed during the 1980s. FPOS is a payment system which allows faster and safer digital funds transfer at payment terminals. And these terminals, some call it point of sale, some call it electronic fund transfer point of sale. Now, using these systems, payment terminals located at the point of sale can be used with debit or credit cards for acceptance of payment. And this technology originated in the US in 1981 and was rolled out in 1982. Television banking. As customer, maybe we are not very familiar with this, but TV banking enables customers to conduct banking business with television and TV set-top box as the terminal and remote control for the operational tool based on the cable broadband network. Customers were able to enjoy financial services such as bank card transfer, inquiry, and bill payment. And with evolution, with technology improvement, there were interactive TV banking, which is an administration that empowers customers to associate with the TV content. The next one is the telephone banking, which is actually considered outdated nowadays. Telephone banking offered by banks was to their clients to perform exchanges through phone on a 24-hour basis. And it's all about utilizing mechanized frameworks with keypad reaction or voice acknowledgement capability to perform banking transactions. To demonstrate their character, customers had to give a numeric or verbal secret key, or noting the inquiries asked by the call focus of the representative. And the customer cannot pull back and store money, but they could do various exchanges. And telephone banking became commercially available in the 1980s, first introduced by Bank in the UK, which established a dedicated telephone banking service in 1984. The other one is our card system. Then card system became the main media for bank customers, and magnetic stripe cards were issued to customers by their respective banks and used to deduct money directly from the customer's account through ATM, and later on purchases were able to be were possible through F-Post. And then the credit card came into play. Chip cards were also introduced with added security features with stronger encryption mechanism, and so that it's difficult for fraudsters to copy, and the data is also stored on chip technology rather than magnetic stripes. The credit card in the 1950s, Frank McNamara started dinners, and Amex follows in the 1950s with general use. So he brought forth this the concept of credit card. A smart card in the banking sector is a smart card is a plastic card with an embedded microchip loaded with data used for telephone banking, electronic cash, payments, and other applications. And the smart card is a device with the dimension of a credit card that uses a microchip, a small microchip to store and process the data. And the card can also be used as an ATM card with the appropriate interface hardware. Our inventors here for the smart cards were Charles Walton, Helmut Gottschalk, and also Jürgen Dettloff. From the German they were German electrical engineers who invented the smart card. Internet banking, very famous nowadays, and banks, they realized that internet to be part of their alternative delivery channel strategies. So they provided internet banking to facilitate their business to customer segment, focus on retaining their customers. And the functionalities of internet banking is the customer can check the account statement online, open a fixed deposit account. They can also pay bills such as water bill, electricity, make merchant payment, transfer the funds, order for a check, or even recharge their prepaid mobile. And the first home banking, internet banking. Some technologies refer to internet banking as home banking service, which was offered to consumers in December 1980s by UK American Bank, a community bank with headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. The SMS banking refers to the bank's SMS banking service, which provide the customer services such as information related to accounts of the customer, details about transactions, and other services as may be provided using the short messaging service. The basic banking inquiry transactions such as balance inquiry, funds exchange rate inquiry are performed by the Corporation of Banks and the telecommunication service providers. And in 1999, the first European bank started to offer mobile banking on this platform to their customers. So they started with mobile SMS banking, then they moved to WAP, which I will talk instantly, and then they were able to create the mobile banking solution for the customer. So the next one is WAP, which is a wireless application protocol based communication, which works on mobile phone and helps to access mobile banking service in a more secure way than SMS banking. And WAP is a set of communication protocols for wireless devices designed to enable manufacturer, vendor, technology independent access to the internet. And it incorporates all regular financial services of all in one card and credit cards. Now, what can be done in this through this WAP banking? Customers can check their balance inquiries, transaction inquiries, password management, lost card limits. They can do money transfer, which enable transfer between all in one card, credit cards, smart cards, accounts with other banks, and so forth. Investment management, which include fund inquiries, fund subscription and redemption, wealth management accounts, security quotations, buy, sell untrusted financial products. They can also have credit card management, manage their credit card limit, inquire about transaction, set repayment, as well as bonus cards. And that was also possible. They could do their mobile phone bill as well as other bill. And then with our development of web SMS and web banking services, in the 1999, the first European bank started to offer mobile banking on the platform to the customers. And mobile banking actually began gaining acceptance in 2007. And in USA, mobile banking was introduced in 2006 by Virtual Bank. And the one who really created, the inventor of mobile phone, thanks to him, is Dr. Martin Cooper. Another concept which has become very popular nowadays is the closed banking. Because of the lack of bank branches, the customer cannot go to the bank. Instead, the bank comes to the area of the process transaction, allowing the credit and enable access to these services to low-income groups. Kiosks are just small booths with internet connections. Some are established in villages, but some also implemented in the banking premise environment. Digital wallet or e-wallet, or as some say it's mobile wallet, allows consumers and business to process payments and invoices online or at the point of sale. They are considered to be much safer and much secure than carrying around the traditional wallet because of thieves and so on. And the digital wallet has both the hardware and the information component. Secure and fair electronic payment systems are important issue here. And the software provides security and encryption for the personal information and for the actual transaction. This is something which when I was doing my PhD, I discovered this. My research was in the banking sector. I was analyzing the various tools, not only the electronic banking channels, but also the back-end channels. And then I discovered all these little bubbles and big bubbles that really impact on the complexity of IT system of banks. So you have the electronic banking system with regard to these different post, ATM, mobile. You also have the part of IT security, which is very important, the card system, which have different systems, and all are interrelated with each other. The popular emerging trends, I'll go very on a very high level view here as well. FinTech, which is the emerging trend. FinTech describes a variety of financial activities such as money transfers, depositing a check with a smartphone, bypassing a bank branch to apply for credit, raising money for a business startup, or managing investment generally without the assistance of a person. Now, areas of FinTech innovation include cryptocurrency and digital cash, blockchain technology, and which is very often related to distributed ledger technology, smart contract, which execute contract between buyers and sellers, open banking, links on blockchain, and InsurTech, which seek to use technology to simplify and streamline the insurance industry, and the RegTech, which seeks to help financial service firms meet industry compliance rules, and also and also robo-advisors, which utilize algorithm to automate investment advice to lower its cost and increase accessibility. There is also there are the services unbanked and underbanked, which they serve disadvantaged or low-income individuals who are ignored or underserved by traditional banks or mainstream financial institution services. And also the most important aspect of fintech, the backbone is cybersecurity. Chris Skinner was the global fintech pundit. Started in the beginning of fintech with the launch of Zopa, a UK peer-to-peer lender, started in 2005. The other one is, I'm just getting it. Yeah, blockchain for banks. So a blockchain is a distributed database that is shared among the nodes of a computer network. It stores information electronically in digital format, and blockchains are best known for its role in cryptocurrency systems such as Bitcoins for maintaining a secure and decentralized record of transaction. Satoshi Nakamoto, he was the Bitcoin creator in 2008 and has brought forth many inventions related to blockchain systems. Blockchain guarantees the fidelity and security of a record of data and generate trust without the need for a trusted third party. And it is the foundation of immutable ledgers, records of transactions that cannot be altered, deleted, or destroyed. And these blockchains are also known as DLT, distributed ledger technology. The next one is about to know that the banks are early technology adopters. They are also inventors, and they have also been evolving according to the new economy to add value to their customer. Now, thanks to these inventors, in this webinar, some of them have been mentioned, but we have lots of inventors, and they are trying to improve the banking technologies as well as delivery channels to the customers. And thanks to them, today we as customers, we are able to conduct part of our banking transaction at home and be safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, these convenient e-banking channels for us customers require a high level of security to guard against cyber fraud. We as customers, we need to be responsible in our banking transactions. The next slide is, so as an end node, I would like to quote two scientists. The first one is Newton Kissing. I quote, "First come the dreamers, the theorists, the heroic innovators who awaken the world's brain upon a new line of thought. Then come the pioneers who solve certain parts of the problem and make suggestions that are of practical value. And then, in the fullness of time, comes one masterful man who is more of a doer than a dreamer, who works out exact combination of ideas to produce the result and establishes the new product as a necessary part of the whole human family." End of quotation. And Einstein also mentioned with regard to science, I quote, "Science will never be a finished book. Any development of it over time reveals more and deeper difficulties." End of quotation. So as a future generation, it's just I'm having a problem to put the next slide. Okay, so as a technologist, this is a question, also a food for thought for you. As a technologist, what would be your contribution to the future banking services? So I will end with this, something that you can start thinking how you can contribute to our future banking services when you will start maybe studying for any IT or science subjects, and what you can contribute to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You can share your
Yeah.
screen. Stop the sharing, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Dr. Narayan, for this enriching and beautiful talk. We'll have some few questions now. If ever you want to ask some questions, you can put it in the Q&A section. I think there is no questions for me today. We shall, if you have any questions, you don't hesitate to put in the Q&A section. Okay. We have one question. Yes, Mr. Sahil. Type it in the queue. Okay. Yeah. You can answer the questions, Dr. Narayan.
I'm just saying, hi, my name is, I have a question.
Yeah, the question is how does
artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Can you continue because I can see only include. Okay, does fintech involve artificial intelligence? Interesting question. Most of the financial technologies are including artificial intelligence in different agents to enable like artificial intelligence robo advisors or robots to automate certain processes inside the system. Fintech is a big system in itself, and there are certain solutions. There are certain artificial intelligence solutions that are integrated to ensure, because you have different components, to ensure the security part being tackled, to ensure the processes are being delivered and implemented on time, because you have the concept of the element of time, accessibility, availability of these services, and it's still in the evolution phase, but some organizations have already integrated some of the artificial intelligence. I hope I've answered your question.
We have one question from Shivam.
We know that there is crypto investment in Bitcoin.
The question is, we know that there is crypto investment and Bitcoin investment nowadays. How did this kind of invention help the bank through technology and in other ways?
It's still in the evolution process, although some very big banks have implemented crypto investment and Bitcoin investment. The idea about blockchain and Bitcoin, it's about a good governance online for these systems. So it helps to the transactions are more transparent. As mentioned earlier, it will enable more transparency. There are lesser fraud in a way where the users, end users of each of these processes, they know what they need to do, what they are doing, and there is a ledger, there is accountability inside the in this system. So it not all banks actually have implemented, but those banks which have implemented these solutions have found they have a better IT governance implemented with regard to their data, with regard to their database ledger, with regard to their transactions, and also verify the various users and their related a transaction conducted online. Thank you.
Yes, we have another question from Kalim Jahu.
How does innovation in technology affect cryptocurrency? So, can you be more precise with regard to this question? It's about innovation in technology. You have different technology that have been, whatever have been explained is part of it, but the part of cryptocurrency, as mentioned earlier, asked by Shivam, it's we talk about crypto investment and the Bitcoin. So here it's about, as earlier mentioned, it's more about transparency. It's all about these these transactions are more transparent by the end users. End users here are all the parties who are using this system. And it also, well, when we talk about a system online, it's more accessible, it's available, but of course, all these solutions require connectivity, require good performance network, require good security implementation, cybersecurity implementation. There is another question from Sean asking how to change the face of banking industry. It's what I wanted to show in the presentation, that it started long time back with paper-based system, and evolution has really changed how the banks operate internally, as well as with its different stakeholders here, with the different business partners, and the main is the customer, the retail customer. In the banking sector, you have different types of customer. You have the corporate customer, you have the premier banking customer, as well as the retail customer. So here it's to be able to have a good customer relationship with these different segmentations, these different customers, and trying to help them to have a good convenience banking with the customer online. And if you observe what is happening right now with the COVID pandemic, many people prefer to do their transaction online. So internet banking, mobile banking are really helping us to protect ourselves from this COVID-19 pandemic. It's also if we use ATM, for example, it's also a medium where the virus can be transmitted. So many of our transactions, it's true that we are not getting the cash from these devices, mobile devices or internet, but everything is intangible. Even in the cryptocurrency, everything is intangible here. So how it has helped, technology is, it's just like the vein and the blood for the banks. I personally, I cannot see a bank without technology. Otherwise, we will see us queuing again, and life will be difficult. So the idea is to facilitate our life every day and help us in our daily transaction for a better quality living. Thank you.
We have a question in the chat box from Mr. Ramsaran. Can we find an idea of career prospect that exists in this field?
The prospect of career, you mean? Is it career orientation in the field of banking? I'm just rectifying whether I've really understood the question.
Yeah, Mr. Ramsaran is here.
Hi. I just wanted to, we have many students have connected with us today, and we are very glad to have them here. Maybe can we share any kind, if you have any kind of information about those who want to get into the banking sector, especially into the field, the technical fields? Do you think maybe you have any information that you can share with them? What is the actual situation? Are
Yeah.
banks very keen to recruit youngsters? What kind of qualities you need to have? Any qualification that you need to have for them to join the banking sector, especially to work in the technical, especially to work with technologies? This is what I wanted to mean.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for clarification. Yeah, the banking sector, since most of the processes are automated, you have business people as well as technologist people. Okay, people who are specializing in technology. And when we talk about technology, it's a vast. You have people with different. Someone coming with a computer science. Come in a bank, you have different posts. I would say different responsibilities. When I was in the bank, for example, I was working in the bank. We were around 90 IT professionals. 90 IT professionals. Okay, and there were around 12 to 15 subsections of IT. So one department will cater for the administrative part, one for example, desktop operations using the desktop. One will cater for database. One will look for business intelligence. One team will look at report writing for corporate, report writing for in the retail banking. You also have people who are specialized in security. You have people who are specializing in IT auditing. Some people who are specializing in IT risk. So the bank is in a banking sectors or even financial institutions. It's a very delicate sector because there are lots of confidentiality and so forth. There are lots of avenues. Any students coming with studying computer science, computer studies, they have lots of opportunities to join in the sector. And also the emerging possibility, I mean, trend is relates also to ERP, enterprise resource planning solutions. You also have business intelligence, data mining. Now there are requirements for data scientists. Okay, for data mining, data warehousing. There is also one part related to business intelligence, related to knowledge mining, knowledge management inside organizations. So it's quite anyone coming with IT now. When they join the bank, they depending on which department they are servicing, they start specializing themselves with regard to these services. So there are lots of avenues, and as also even for ATM, automated teller machine, you have new which is new ATM integrated with artificial intelligence, and we need people. Banks need people to be able to operate these devices, because all these are service deliveries channels, the electronic banking services. They facilitate the task of the customer. So even the science person joining as a bank officer or whoever will have to develop the part of business as well as science and technology. So yeah, there are lots of possibilities in the banking sector and financial sector.
We have a question from Dr. Manali in the chat section.
Okay. Thank you for this question, Dr. Manali. That is a very interesting question when we talk at our
We shall say the question. How far is fintech a reality in the day-to-day practice at local level? Is there enough guarantee transparency in this field today in the offshore system?
That's an interesting question, and we need lots of brainstorming session for this, because as of now, fintech is emerging in Mauritius. We can't say it has achieved its level of implementation. The main thing, if maybe you will agree with me, it's about regulation. Do we have a proper regulation with acts and regulation to support us with this implementation? It's not only for bank, it's also for offshore, it's also for insurance, it's also for investment, because all of these stakeholders, all of these third parties are connected together. And what is the level of security? What is the level of what are the responsibilities and roles of each of these parties in this ecosystem needs to be well thought about. Even at the international level, there are lots of debates and still lots of talk regarding to the security aspect, the risk aspect, as well as the how it will be audited. So again, for Mauritius, I think it's very early stage, and I personally can't say there is guarantee of transparency. We can have a good transparency if we have a very good RegTech implementation in Mauritius. Thank you.
Yeah, we shall have one last question from Aditya in the Q&A Q&A section. The question is as follows. There are chances that cryptocurrency crashing in the near future. How do we ensure that our money would be safe if we invest in Bitcoin? If I read in the news stating that there are chances of cryptocurrency crashing in the future.
Yeah, how safe it is. Again, it's related to whether we have a good regulation implemented. And we don't know how far it's just like stock exchange, which there are lots of unforeseen things that can happen online. For example, with the current situation and many of with the pandemic situation, and many organizations are moving online and implementing click and mortars solutions. Many organizations, they can invest on these possibilities. However, me personally, I still feel to be able to invest in these Bitcoin solutions, the regulatory body, the ecosystem for regulation needs to be well determined. And this will keep on changing because there are lots of unforeseen circumstances happening, be it at the social system, the technological system, or any factors, what we call macro factors. And for me personally, it's about, if I have to implement to invest on this, I will relate to the regulatory body. I will check all these principles before investing and checking. And it's also the investors' responsibilities to to uh, to follow what is happening so that they can invest safely in Bitcoins.
Okay, then I think we shall conclude. And before I conclude, I wish to emphasize that there will be an international online forum on COVID-19, a paradigm shift in science communication, which will be held today at 1 p.m. We will be hosting today at 4 p.m. another webinar on artificial intelligence with the collaboration of High Commission of India to commemorate India's 75th anniversary. And ultimately, we shall conclude with our third edition of the online quiz competition, which will be held today at 7 p.m. On this note, I wish to thank enormously Dr. Narayan for this beautiful and enriching talk. I thank you again for your participation. And thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, for organizing this interesting National Week on Science. And I wish you all the best in this interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Narayan. Thank you.